In Victoria, early estimates put the flood bill in rural areas at about $2 billion. But for many farmers, this year's Australia Day honours go to an army of volunteers, mostly strangers, who've turned out to help with the clean-up. Lisa Whitehead reports.
You'd have to live in a barrel not to think that with half your annual rainfall in 4 days, something's going to happen.
That record rainfall turned into a record flood.
Well, you can see where it got by the grass in the, well, over my head where we're standing now.
Grape grower and farmer Peter Cumming was looking forward to a bumper season after a disastrous result last year.
Our yield for 2011 will be, look, if we got 40% of our normal yield, I'd be over bloody joyed. I reckon we'll get about 25 or 30% of our normal yield.
Peter Cumming's vineyard is on the outskirts of the central Victorian town of Bridgewater. The flood struck here with a violent force, leaving a tangle of wreckage behind it. The debris and rubbish that floated downstream of the town is now causing havoc for farmers.
We found a toilet and a washing machine. I picked up a Hills hoist. There was a table tennis table, still half folded up. Just random things, some egg beaters, plates. Yeah, just different household items, chairs, just strewn all over the place.
Jewel Jones is one of an army of volunteers who have come to the rescue.
These volunteers all here, they're from a Baptist church down in Geelong. So there's a group of them, 16, isn't there?
There was 16 of us, yeah.
Yes, they came up yesterday, up to Bendigo Baptist, so we're kind of hosting them, looking after them, feeding them. And then, yeah, there was a few of us decided to come along for a bit of moral support.
Look, it's just fabulous. I mean, yeah, we have our own staff, but there's just not enough of us. And apart from that, you know, we've got other things that have to be done. So having this crew of volunteers is fabulous. And they're helping to strip a lot of the crap that's sticking to the vines off, and also just the debris.
I think we're all shocked by it, you know. And I keep saying to the wife, it's a bad dream. You just, you know, think it's a dream. But it's certainly not a dream, as you can see.
In the cold light of day, the devastation on this neighbouring property was clear to see. 700 sheep were unable to escape the rising floodwater.
We can put a cost on the loss of stock, probably around about 110,000, but yeah, I suppose it's more the fact that we're setting ourselves up for the next 5 or so years with our breeding stock.
David Collins hasn't even begun to estimate the cost of the fence damage to half of the family's 780-hectare property. But the work of these volunteers is priceless.
So where are you starting there, that corner?
Well, that corner straight over there, Andrew. And
John Stutz from Gosford in New South Wales put his caravanning trip around Australia on hold to pitch in.
Well, we'll all get in and give it a bit of a go, and look what we've achieved, eh? Plenty more people should be out there giving it a bit of a go.
So you'd encourage others to put their hands up?
They got to, mate. Jesus. Why shouldn't they?
If they turn up at 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll have them on the job at 8:15. And that's a guarantee. And if they can't, if they're not fencing experienced, doesn't matter. There's other jobs that we can do.
Jeff Valletta is organising this group of volunteers for Blaze Aid, formed after the devastating Black Saturday bushfires, which also destroyed thousands of kilometres of fencing.
It's one extreme to the other, isn't it? But it's all the same result. It's property owners with a major problem, and the idea is that we sort of just hopefully we can sort of help them get the fences up.
Yeah, look, it's a real testimony to the greatness of Australian character. People are pitching in, and that's really fantastic. There's a lot of work that really you can't do in a mechanical sense. It's really using your set of hands, and that's why a steady, consistent, dedicated volunteer task force is going to be required.
Well, it looks pretty placid behind us now, but where we're standing here, it would have peaked probably about 4 foot over our heads.
At the Coghlan family property, only 4 out of 120 paddocks can be used to hold stock. Frank Coghlan has started the daunting task of refencing 20 to 30 kilometres of the farm with the help of Blaze Aid volunteers. The family says it's lost $400,000 worth of hay, much of it still lying wet and going mouldy in the paddocks. Other hay bales washed tens of kilometres downstream.
If anyone wants some mulch for their gardens, it'd be ideal for that, but how many thousand tonnes can people take?
Like most farmers, Frank Coghlan couldn't insure against flood. All he's entitled to is a government grant of $25,000. He says there was a lack of warning about the release of water from reservoirs upstream.
I'm going to be asking that question in the cool light of day, that we should have got a little bit more notice that there was this much water coming down, and we could have saved a lot more than what we did.
The best information was farmers ringing other farmers down the line and saying, look, it's high here, it's going to be high when it gets down to your area. And I think that's where the Water Authority needs to take some good hard notes and see if they can learn so that we can have better communications if this happens again.
For now, the urgent call being sent out is for more volunteers to help kickstart the recovery and ease the burden on so many of Victoria's farmers.
It's just a mammoth task. Just don't quite know where to start. And you think, there's a lot of work to be done.
Lisa Whitehead with that report.